Assalamu alaikum. My name is Yasser Abdullahi. You know, for me, the Prophets in Islam were more than just stories. They were human. They struggled, they felt joy, they felt pain, just like we do. And that makes them powerful role models, not just perfect figures. A while ago, I was going through a tough time. I couldn't think clearly, I felt lost, I was hurting, and I just wanted peace. Then one night I had a dream. I heard a name. It was Kifl. I didn't know much about him at all, so I looked him up and found he's only mentioned twice in the Quran. But both times he's mentioned alongside prophets like Ismail, Idris, and Ayub. These prophets were known for their patience, and that moment gave me peace. I felt like this was the message I needed at the time. So, who was Dhul Kifl? According to some stories from Ibn Kathir, his name means the one who took responsibility. His story starts when Prophet Eliasa was growing old and needed someone to continue his mission. He was looking for someone calm, consistent, and patient, so he put out a challenge for someone who could fast during the day, pray during the night, and never get angry. It was a tough ask, but one man stood up and said, "I can do it." He was asked again to make sure he understood the weight of it. He stayed firm. That man was Dhul Kifl, and eventually he was given the responsibility. From then on, Dhul Kifl lived with discipline. He fasted, he prayed, he judged fairly, he handled the people with patience. But his biggest test didn't come from the people, it came from Iblis. See, Iblis didn't try to mess with his prayers or his fasting. He went for the real battle. He went for his emotions. Because sometimes you can pray and fast, but still lose to your own anger. So Iblis came in disguise as an old man. He started bothering Dhul Kifl right during his nap time. On the first day, he shows up with a long story about being mistreated. Dhul Kifl listens patiently. He ends up missing his nap. He tells the man to come to the court the next day. The man doesn't show up. The next day comes and same thing happens. He shows up again during his nap time. Dhul Kifl still doesn't get angry. He just listens and gives him another chance. And on the next day, again, he doesn't show to court. Now Dhul Kifl is tired, so he tells his household, "Don't let anyone disturb me during my rest, please." But the old man, who was really Iblis, he comes back, he sneaks in another way and wakes him up again. At that point, Dhul Kifl opens the door, looks at him and says, "Are you an enemy of Allah?" And that's when Iblis drops the act. He confesses. He tried everything just to make Dhul Kifl angry, and he failed. This part really hit me hard. Iblis didn't need to stop Dhul Kifl's act of worship. He just needed to break him internally, because that's what happens to a lot of us. We might pray, we might fast, but then someone says something and we lose control. And in that moment, they're not just pushing your buttons, they're controlling your internal world. This is where the Quran gives us power. Allah says, when they get angry, they forgive. When the ignorant speak to them, they say, peace. That's not weakness, that's clarity, that's control. When someone triggers you, you ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Why am I letting them decide how I feel? Am I reacting from my ego or responding from my soul? You don't have to fast every day like Dhul Kifl, but maybe you fast twice a week. Maybe you pause before reacting. Maybe you use your night to remember Allah, even just for 5 minutes. Every little thing you do builds emotional strength. And just like Dhul Kifl, you won't be perfect, but you will be in control. And that's very powerful. Thank you for listening to the story of Dhul Kifl. I hope it inspires you like it inspired me to protect your peace and take full responsibility for what's going on inside. If you'd like to hear more on this story, just read up on Ibn Kathir's texts and you'll find more about the book.